prime time on the top game, it's a fine line. Man in the match, that's Daveye, he's the main guy, keep a close eye. Make sure you don't make no wrong play, cause I'm with Jose and Andre. And when Cyrus comes to walk in, you better know that you are watching Premier League. Daveye, tell him what time we on, what time we on. Prime time, let me hear you say Premier League. Daveye, tell him what time we on, what time we on. Time.
Hello and welcome back to Premier League Primetime. Chelsea 2, Tottenham 2, and I'm rejoined, of course, by my guy, my co-host. Jeez, you know the rest, the one and only Andre, Mr. Andre. How are you doing?
Doing good, Davis. All right.
And of course, we'll get right into this. Just overall general thoughts on the games before we just go into the player ratings.
Well, it was a good battle. I watched with my grandpa. He said it was his favorite game so far. I thought the first half was a bit uneventful for me because I thought Chelsea dominated a lot. Well done, Tuchel. But I'm happy with the result. I think we got the better of them. I think we come away from the bridge happier.
100%. I 100% agree with that. Of course, I'll start with Chelsea, right? I mean, Chelsea, they looked as if for the first, I'd say for the majority of the game, they dominated.
Yeah.
What do you think Tuchel must have said to his players, whether it's before the game, at halftime, to his players that allowed them to just be so dominant? Because for a while, it looked like Tottenham didn't even have any shots, no attacking opportunities, nothing. It just seemed they completely dominated and controlled the game.
No, I mean, I knew going into it, as soon as I saw that we were up against them, that Chelsea would be desperate to win this game. There have been questions over them. They've had a rocky start in preseason. It wasn't that confident of a win last time out. They've beat us twice at the bridge last season. I don't think they've lost to us under Tuchel. They have a flawless record under him. And of course, we're a rival. A lot of those players played under Conte. I mean, the reasons for them to be driven and inspired to play their hearts out this match were countless. So I knew that this would be a different Chelsea side than we've seen in preseason and the first game that we saw. And it was a really inspired performance. Tactically, Tuchel did the same thing he did last year, where he sort of matched up our formation. And once again, he nailed the pressing. I mean, we could not build out of the back at all, which was something we did very good last time out. He forced us to play long a lot. We tried to win aerial battles, but with those center backs, it's not an easy job going against players like Koulibaly, Thiago Silva, and whatnot. So honestly, Chelsea really, really did well this game. Truly, then they probably should have come out on top, but they did well.
100%. And just we won't do player ratings for Chelsea, but just a few standouts. Are there any standout players on this Chelsea side that you thought, wow, like they gave us some problems?
Yeah, I mean, Reece James adjusted well to that center back position. They had Loftus-Cheek on the wing back, and then he was kind of tucking in like in middle three as well. So Reece James did incredibly well to be that center back, holding off Son, who's obviously an incredible winger, and then still found the space for their second goal. So Reece James, I thought, was a really, really outstanding performance from him. Good stuff from Sterling too, some good trickery. I think he might offer something different than the failed striker signings that we've seen at Chelsea so far.
Jose was slating Sterling the whole game.
Were you?
Jose was slating Raheem Sterling the whole game.
Of course he was. Look, he didn't do great, but I thought his movements compared to what I've seen from some of their other signings for striker were clever. So it's still an adjustment period. I mean, I don't think he's got a goal for him yet. But I thought he did okay. N'Golo Kante, Jesus Christ. That man always turns up against us. I thought he was fantastic as well.
100%. And just two more players I thought. I mean, Kalidou Koulibaly. I mean, and Sirius's guy that he always points out. But Koulibaly, I think anyone could have known that this man is just a quality player.
Yeah, I wasn't too surprised by that. I mean, I think Chelsea
great goal as well.
Maybe. I mean, you look at their backline today, and I'm thinking maybe Chelsea have the best in the league, best defense in the league again. Like that back five is pretty impeccable. I mean, it's like for us. I mean, our really like the only player that I can confidently say in our back line that is world class on that level is, for me, Christian Romero. And it feels like Chelsea have 3 or 5 of those Romero or world class players. So I think their back line is pretty hard for any team to compete against right now. I think we can expect really solid stuff from their defense again this year.
100%. And one more player I just wanted to point out. I think Mark Cucurella had a phenomenal performance, stepping in for Chilwell.
He's okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's okay. I didn't think he was that amazing.
I thought he played.
I mean, he did well because he did okay. He did okay against Kulusevski, but obviously he had help from Kalidou Koulibaly. And then Emerson, I thought, was just not. He wasn't decisive this game. It wasn't anything like the first game Emerson we saw. There was a clear quality gap between Emerson and a lot of those Chelsea defenders. So I thought Cucurella did well. I don't think he was tested too much, so I wouldn't evaluate him too much, to be honest.
100%. And let's get into the player ratings, of course. And before we get to the player ratings, of course, we got to give a rating for your favorite manager, Thomas Tuchel, of course.
Right.
The celebrations.
Yeah, I mean, look, I knew they were desperate to win against us, but I didn't realize how bad until I saw the passion in what he was doing. I mean, I don't know. It felt babyish. It felt childish to me. I really didn't like it. I mean, it takes a lot to out crazy Conte. Like, I was thinking every match. Sorry about the sound if that's loud. That Conte's we're gonna have the crazier manager on the touchline. Tuchel outdid him in terms of craziness. That was wild.
Yeah.
So smart man. I thought he did very well tactically this game, but I mean, no self-control. Seriously, really childish. It reminded me of my freshman year, high school coach. Like he was just like kind of crazy. It felt like he was acting like he was 20 years old. So I wasn't really crazy about his antics. I thought, how crazy in Conte is, that's wild. That's wild.
I mean that's Antonio Conte for you, and this is coming from someone whose coach is Antonio Conte. But we'll get right into player ratings. Starting off in goal, Hugo Lloris. I don't think he had any chance with either of the goals.
That's what I was gonna say. He didn't have a chance with either of those goals. What I was impressed with
maybe the
Lloris,
second one, perhaps, because Reece James did cheat it right down the middle, but.
But that's the thing. He lifted it. So I thought Lloris did really well to cover the area, and then he went far post, which is, I think, the better bet. And then Reece James, that's a clever player. He lifted it. I think most players in the Prem, maybe Lloris has a chance with that, but I thought James did perfectly with that. That was a striker's finish to me. Werner would have missed it. Lloris would have blocked Werner's shot. That was Werner. But no, Reece James did really well. Lloris, I'm pretty proud of what Lloris did, and in terms of this. You don't really there's no way you'd compare Lloris with some of the other keepers in the Prem in terms of building out of the back, right? I think he's not in Ederson. I think Ramsdale's probably better at it. This game, he might have been the best at building out of the back. I don't think he put a foot wrong in that. I think the back line, when we were under intense pressure, Lloris did fine. And you look at who messed up with that recently. De Gea, right? He had those. Yeah. I mean, those goals were him. That was a keeper, obviously an excellent shot stopper, struggled to build out of the back. Lloris surprised me with how confident he looked building out of the back. I feel like he's been training. He looked better than what I've seen from Lloris before. So I thought Lloris impressed me a lot that way. I know he's an experienced keeper, but his play with the defense and the midfield, for me, was pretty quality given how much pressure Chelsea were applying. So for that, I'd give Lloris maybe like a 6 or 7. I'm gonna push 7. I think he might be my best rated player on my team was Lloris.
Wow.
Just because I was surprised at what he was able to do.
Fair enough. Into the back three, and I'll start with Eric Dyer.
Yeah. I think he was one of our reliable players. I think him, Højbjerg, and Kane were the ones that seemed very reliable, so I think I give them all 6s. I thought, or Højbjerg actually I'll give higher. He was pretty good, but I give Dyer a 6.
Christian Romero playing at right center back. Him and Kai Havertz, I think the whole game were just
which I loved because I really kind of despise Havertz, so I really loved Romero.
Why you despise Kai Havertz?
I really dislike Kai Havertz and his stupid buzz cut, acting like he's not still James Charles. You are. I don't care what haircut you have. You are, dude. So Romero, it's interesting because I think in the Premier League, a lot of calls go against players based on their reputations. And Romero's reputation of being kind of needlessly excessive or needlessly aggressive center back has not caught up to him yet, and it's worrying me because there were a couple ones where maybe the VAR goes to foul play or whatever for him. There were a couple of those, so he worried me there. Aside from that, I think he was very. He's. I mean, that guy's a rock. He's a monster. So I'd give him like maybe a 5, just because of those a little roughhousing kind of worried me.
5, wow. So quite average from Christian Romero.
Not one of his most memorable performances, but it's just because the things that you could rely on him for, he did well. But I'm just thinking, I'm scared that it's gonna happen where he's gonna get a red card or double booking or something soon. I'm not like it's gonna happen this season.
All right. Playing at left center back, Ben Davies.
Yeah. I thought it was a mixed performance from Davies. He had that really good header that Mendy was able to block. And he was decent at being an option building out of the back, but he couldn't get up the field too much. I'd probably give him the same as Romero, like another 5. I thought, yeah, those two were just because I think they've been really like phenomenal on their Conte. Today they had more defensive responsibility. They weren't as exciting as I'm used to seeing them. But yeah, he did okay.
All right, fair enough. Into the wing backs, and I'll start with Michael Jordan. I mean Emerson Royale on the right hand side. I can't tell if it's Michael Jordan playing at right wing back or if it's Emerson. Or if it's Conor McGregor or Matt Doherty. Yeah. Basically the same thing. But Emerson at right wing back.
For me, our weakest player on the pitch. It's interesting because there was a lot uplifting about his performance in the first game, and I have kind of defended Emerson amongst my fan base. I think I still want to give him a chance. Today was one of the ones where it was like, this is where he lacks consistency. Today, I thought he didn't show much quality. He looked like an average player today, like an average Premier League player. So I would probably give him a 4. I think he was probably our weakest player out today.
All right. Ryan Sessegnon on the left-hand side.
Not bad from Sessegnon. He's impressed me. I had kind of low expectations for him, but he's deservingly starting over Perisic, I think. I'll give Sessegnon. I guess let's give him the 6 also.
Into the midfield pivot, I'll start with Pierre-Emile Højbjerg.
I think if we're not counting either Anthony Taylor for the refereeing or Gio Lo Celso for leaving to Villarreal finally, then I'd give Højbjerg the man of the match today.
What does Giovanni Lo Celso have to do with this game?
I don't know. They announced that he was going to Villarreal about 5 minutes after the result. Like, it was funny. I was just like, oh, there we go. That made my day, honestly. That finally Lo Celso's gone.
On loan.
He was one of the ones I wanted to get out the door.
Only on loan, though.
What is it?
He's only out on loan.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope they sign him very much. I don't know if I want to keep seeing Lo Celso on his first shirt, if I'm being honest. Anyway, yeah, I thought Højbjerg was maybe our best player, and the goal that I celebrated very intensely when I saw that shot going from Højbjerg. I was like, that's my man. This is why he's in the midfield pivot. We haven't had a Bentancur Bissouma because Højbjerg is underrated. He's a phenomenal player. So yeah, I was proud of his performance. I thought good stuff from Pierre.
What rating did you give him?
8.
An 8, wow. Into his midfield partner, Rodrigo Bentancur, and I thought he had a poor afternoon.
Yeah, I thought so. I mean, I initially thought that challenge on Havertz was all ball, but it was not. I was convinced it was all ball, and then I saw the other angle, like, oh. So I like that he had the fight and the risks to actually make that tackle, and it worked out for the better, because that might have been a very dangerous opportunity for Chelsea. So he clearly did the right call. He didn't let Havertz beat him in that duel, which I thought was really good. But yeah, definitely not the best Bentancur performance we've seen. This is another one where it was like, okay, let's bring in somebody else. I was very happy to see him come off. I thought we needed fresh blood, and Bissouma was perfect for that. Yeah,
and going forward, would you want to see Bissouma and Højbjerg start in that pivot, or would you give Bentancur another go?
No, Bentancur Højbjerg is still my preferred midfield pivot. I think this was just, honestly, I've felt that Bentancur has not been the greatest against top 6 opposition. So I would probably keep starting Bentancur for now, but I would start bringing in Busuma as a pretty early sub, like maybe 55 minutes in.
That's fair. What rating are you giving Bentancur today?
I'll give him a 5.
All right. Into the front three, who I thought were probably the poorest on the pitch.
Yeah.
We also do Heung-min Son on the left-hand side is a world-class player, but today he didn't.
No. I mean, Reece James shut him out. Truly, I thought he's you hear that? Yeah. I thought he was shut down. He was. I thought he looked frustrated. I thought his decision making. I was wanting him to release the ball earlier at times because I knew the pressure was on him, around him. They kind of created a box around Son, and he couldn't get out of it. And when they had Richarlison warming up, I wanted Son taken off first. I thought Kulusevski and Kane both dealt with it better than he did. So Son's going to have a phenomenal season this year. I hope he ranks high in the Ballon d'Or rankings, like top 8 maybe. But today he was shut out by a really quality Chelsea defense.
Fair enough. What rating are you giving him today?
Probably give him a 4 along with Emerson, unfortunately.
Dejan Kulusevski, or as you call him, Dejan Kulusevski on the right-hand side.
Yeah. Look, I think he had a good performance. Truly, he was shut down a lot, but he did cause some trouble when he was given the chance. I just don't feel like he was able to do much, just because Chelsea's defense was seriously impressive. I mean, it takes a lot to shut out our front three, and they did. So Kulusevski, I thought was better than Son on the day. Maybe give him a 6 also.
The man up front, Harry Kane, scoring the late equalizer right at the end.
Yeah. Kane, my problem with him today was actually I didn't think he was selfish enough a lot of the times. I think he was trying to release the ball or come early to release Son or Kulu or one of the wingbacks. And I just wanted him at some point to just kind of take the ball up, use that space in the middle, and just like rip a shot or something, which I didn't see enough from him. Just because he got the winning goal, I'll give him
equalizing goal.
Yeah, sorry, equalizing goal. That last minute. I guess I'll push a 7, but otherwise, I definitely would have given him a 5 or a 6 if he didn't score that.
Enough. Substitutions off the bench. Even Perisic didn't really have enough time to really warrant. Obviously he was a big part for the corner at the end, the in-swingers. We needed somebody with quality. When Perisic stepped up, took that outswinger corner, and it was horrible. I had my hand, I'm like, oh my God, we still don't have someone that can take him. But clearly, I just didn't know Perisic was an in-swinger man. So no, I'd give him a high rating just because he got the assist at the end, and we needed that. Without Perisic, we might not have gotten that. I don't think any of our other players could have whipped in as good a ball as Perisic did. So for that, I'll give him a 6. All right. Who's you off the bench? Lucas Moura. The player...
Did nothing. Emerson needs to come off, so honestly I'd be very open to sort of just maybe moving on Lucas. Like if I could go back in time, I would choose to keep Bergwijn and move on Lucas, to be honest. But Lucas seems to be adapting to the wingback role okay. I'll give him a 5 because I really wanted Emerson to come off. So it was nice to see Lucas there.
And speaking of the right wingbacks, you've signed Jed Spence, like. How on earth is he going to be able to fit into the team, or is he just not going to play?
I think he's going to beat Lucas to the spot. I think Lucas is going to be maybe just kind of move back up to the front three and use like just very rarely or in other competitions. But I think Spence is going to beat Lucas to that wingback spot, and then eventually he'll compete with Emerson and Doherty, which I think is really I think it's very possible that Spence could end up getting the nick of them. I mean, Sessegnon did it. So I think it's going to take time, and I think he still needs to integrate. But I think he'll get a lot of play time nearing second half of the season. He might be the first choice.
All right, guys, Basuma off the bench.
Yeah, needed him to come on. I thought he dealt with pressure really well. Like he showed strength. I'd probably give him a 5 because he didn't get the chance to do too much. But yeah, strong. I love the passion at the end when we scored. So yeah, I'll give him a
5. And lastly, Richarlison.
Son needed to come off. I'll give him I'll give him a 6 because I like that he was stirring feathers in the Chelsea backline. They started to actually they were a bit more frazzled when Richarlison came on, not for his on-ball stuff, but simply for his antics. We had our own little Thomas Tuchel in our front three, and that's what Richarlison brought to the team.
And lastly, of course, the manager Antonio Conte for everything.
Yeah.
Tactics, antics, everything.
Okay. Maybe I missed something, but to me, I did not see an overreacting Conte at all. You didn't see him running the length of the pitch to celebrate, which is a Conte thing. He was clearly making an effort to stay very calm amidst like insane aggression. The only thing at the end was when Tuchel held on to his hand. Conte went right up nose to nose or face to face. So that was the only thing. But for me, from what I saw, I thought Conte was rather tame today. I thought he looked very controlled. So I couldn't really see what people were talking about. I liked that when the team seemed worried when we were down 1-0, he was telling everyone to calm down because Conte knows how to come back from games, how to be the team without possession and still like come out with like a good result. So I think he did well. I'll give him an 8 today.
All right, and there you have it. There is your post-match reaction to this game. Chelsea 2, Tottenham 2. Thank you so much for your time watching this, and let us know in the comments down below what are your thoughts on the topics that have been in store in this feature of Premier League Primetime in the comments down below. Smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel, and be sure to check out our other platforms on Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and wherever you are watching this in the world. We hope you have an absolutely fantastic day / evening.